Bruno Guimaraes to Arsenal transfer boost. Very huge story coming from Jacob's pen, and it really shows you how huge a movement has going to be set out by the club of Arsenal to see to it that all goes its way. Then we are having a story of Renato Sanches, one of those players that was once linked to Arsenal Man United, and his career has gone ahead obviously drift off, by his very uncalling move. He decided to go to PSG, and at AS Roma where alone is, things are not going on well, and a decision has gone ahead to be taken. And lastly, a man who came on and really put up an assist for Chelsea to score a winning goal against Nottingham Forest over the weekend, Reece James, has come out and really pronounced his happiness upon his return. Let's see close to how many likes. 300 likes. Smash on this video. Don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And Rokani David is my name, and this is the Transfer News Show here onto the Rokani Media Football. Transfers are really back in full gear, and today is the 13th of May 2024, and we are like a month away from them opening officially. That is it. We thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. And a story is coming in through from Jacob's Ben, and he's telling us that PSG has dropped out of discussions regarding the signing of Bruno Guimaraes, the Newcastle midfielder, who is also a target for Arsenal. Now, Jacob's Ben is one of the tier 1 journalists that doesn't hit a miss. Every time he comes out and really speaks about something, it happens to resonate in broad daylight. And now he's speaking about this guy called Bruno Guimaraes, and he's also linking him to Arsenal, that he's a target to Arsenal. It's no longer news that Arsenal are interested in signing Bruno Guimaraes. They're really interested in signing Bruno Guimaraes, and he's really one of those players that you feel like the side of Arsenal should obviously be getting in at this particular period of time. And through having him and getting him, Arsenal are really working tooth and nail to see to it that they beat off competition from other teams. One of the teams that are going to have to show huge interest in Bruno Guimaraes has been PSG. And I tell you, one of the aspects that Arsenal is going to have to sell to these players, it's their product. It's their project, and their project is really very promising. When you look at the project of PSG, it's really very promising, and any player could obviously be sold into an idea to obviously go ahead and really play in that project. And Bruno Guimaraes, being a South American, and their greed for money, he might really opt out to say, when you look at Arsenal, it's having Jorginho, Declan Rice, and they are willing to sign even Douglas Luiz. Will I obviously come up and really be a priority into that game of football? And I don't know what answer he'll give himself, because at PSG, Bruno Guimaraes gets into that team. I think he overpowers Vitinha, because Vitinha plays in that midfield of PSG. So he overpowers him, and after overpowering him, I tell you what, he can get into that midfield. But even I think at Arsenal, he can play into that double pivot with Declan Rice. Jorginho is not that kind of person who will obviously scare you. But the question is, if Arsenal get in a midfielder, if Arsenal get in a number 9, where will Kai Havertz come into play? Because even Gabriel Jesus will be there. But leaving that at that side, we all know that this is a very huge boost for the side of Arsenal. If PSG have gone ahead to drop out of discussions for now, it really gives them vibes of really staying in competitions with teams like Man City, right? And which other team? Man City and Manchester United. You get? And Arsenal's shown has that if there is anything they've gone ahead to master, they've mastered the art of winning hearts of players, and their negotiation skills are really great. Why? Last summer, everyone thought that when Man City came in and really put in their bid, Declan Rice would have gone ahead to get moved, because a team that had just gone ahead to win a treble had just gone ahead to tell him, please, we want you to sign for our club. You understand? And how many players in the world could say no to a team that are just going to win a treble and a team that is managed by the best manager in the world, that is Pep Guardiola? But Arsenal came out with a proper plan to convince Declan Rice, as we are told that that Declan Rice was the priority transfer target for Arsenal in the January of 2023. You get? So Arsenal have been working on this deal, all had been working on this deal for a very, very, very long time, and it comes out to be one of those moments that best describes how good Arsenal is at negotiating. Now, when you see to it that the competitors are really reducing, it's what we call a pure lift-up for the club of Arsenal, meaning that they now have to really face off with Man City for Bruno Guimaraes. You get? Because this time around, it's different. It's Man City that is negotiating for a player, and they're showing him that you're getting straight into the team of Man City. You know, I know Matthias Nunes is going to have to come in through, but the manager of Man City will negotiate and tell the player that, please, I'm going to get you in at this club of Man City, and you're going to be playing the midfield alongside Rodri. That is it, because we all know how good this player is when he plays as a number 8. And I don't see him saying no. He might really leave it open, and it might act out well for him in as far as negotiating for a huge contract is concerned. He might call in for like £250,000 a week as Bruno Guimaraes. The buyout clause is there of £100 million before the 30th of June, but it will depend on who comes in through to convince this player to leave the club. And Newcastle is 100% willing to let Bruno Guimaraes go. That is Newcastle for you. Newcastle is 100% willing to let him go, but it's Alexandra Isak they are not willing to let go. So that is it coming in through from the side of Arsenal and PSG. So Arsenal are left with only one team to beat it off, to see to it that they obviously get in the signing of this guy, that is Bruno Guimaraes. And for everyone who was going to hate, obviously know who Bruno Guimaraes is, he'll be needed a lot at the club of Arsenal. And if Arsenal happen to get him in, I've always told you it will be one of those signings that will always come up and really think of that who will be season changing. The manager of Arsenal wants to build a juggernaut, and he knows to it that games of football are won and lost into the midfield. When you look at the presence of Thomas Partey in that midfield, it really gives him a very, 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 very huge goal. And at that start, you understand that Partey is not one of those players that Arsenal is considering to keep at their stadium. You get? So, if he's not one of those players Arsenal is considering to obviously keep, then they need a replacement, and that replacement should be a CDM that can play as a number 9. So that can play as a number 8 also. So his dynamism has played a lot into play, and I tell you what, it's not going to be an easy call for the club of Arsenal, because Man City won't allow to be bossed again by the side of Arsenal to lose another decent midfielder. You understand? So that is it coming in through from Jacobs Ben, obviously a very good player, a very good tier 1 journalist, and most times when he speaks, it happens. That is the guy. And I tell you what, we wait to see how that really goes into consideration, and where is this guy gonna be. So after that, let's go to another player who is returning to PSG. Renato Sanches came out to the world limelight when Portugal was playing in the Euros of 2016, and they went ahead to win the Euros, right? And now Fabrizio Romano has told us that Renato Sanches will return to PSG at the end of the current season. AS Roma will not trigger €15 million buy option clause to keep him at the club. Sanchez will be available on the market at PSG. As PSG will explore solutions for the Portuguese midfielder. He went to AS Roma because Jose Mourinho recommended him. Remember, in 2016, he was wanted by Manchester United, and Jose Mourinho was like, we've missed him out, and went to Bayern Munich. When he went to Bayern Munich, a lot went ahead to happen, and he fell off. He came back to the Premier League on loan. He performed very well. Then he was sold to, I think, Lille, right? And I think that's the team that went ahead to obviously win a league title in France, and they beat PSG, but they lost most of the players in there. He was one of those that crossed from that side. Was it Lyon or Lille? One of those two teams, and he found himself going to PSG. He played one season in PSG 102, and then later he was loaned to the side of AS Roma, but he hasn't gone ahead to impress, and they are not willing to trigger that. When you look at Renato Sanches, you feel a little bit for him. You really feel, a little bit for this guy, because I know he really has the talent. After falling out with Bayern Munich and his career was like at the end, he rejuvenated or revived his career in the Premier League and League One. PSG killed him off, and he's now available. 26 years of age, he can really put in a very good shift, but the worrying bit is that he has only played 7 games in the Serie A and had 1 goal, and I understand he went ahead to really have an injury. So we will see very many Premier League teams going in for Renato Sanches, and I would be surprised if he comes to the Premier League. That is it, because very good managers in the Premier League might really find out a very good player in him. He's really tenacious. I like his energy and his awareness, and the way he really thinks how to kill off the game of football. So that's what makes him a very good player. But we wait. What decision is going to be made anytime from now when it comes to his next move and how PSG is going to retreat him, because we know he's not in the pecking order, as the midfield has very many players in there for you. The likes of Ugarte are there into the mix. You understand, Ugarte has gone ahead to do a very good job that side, but he has also not gone ahead to be a regular into that side of PSG, as Vitinha has gone ahead to take over that midfield position. So we wait and see. Maybe they might be planning on him because they've gone ahead to really pull out with discussions of Bruno Guimaraes, and it might be the reason. We wait and see. Lastly, Reece James coming into and really putting in an assist for the 3rd goal that saw Chelsea win Nottingham Forest. He has said, it's been a long wait for me, so I'm happy to come back into the team. We learn every day. We are still young, but we are improving, and we are coming strong at the end of the season. Cole Palmer is one of the best in the world. I think, personally, at City, he didn't play as much as he would like, but he has come here and taken the chance with both hands. Slowly but surely, we are finding our feet and reaching the level. So, obviously, Chelsea are really doing good, and they might qualify for the UEFA Europa League, because they're having 57 points, and they're still having 2 games to play. They win those 2 games against Brighton and the other team they're really closing up the match day with, or the season with, they'll find themselves in a better position of really winning that position. But Reece James, who is an injury-prone player, has come back, and we wait to see how he plays. And I know if he's available, even England will consider taking him to the Euros because of him being the best right back they're really having. And I tell you, if he can keep himself fit, Reece James is the best right back in the world. Defensively, he's solid, and offensively, he has a very perfect end product to his game. So, guys, we call upon for your reactions or comment section below about Bruno Guimaraes to Arsenal boost. What do you make about it? Then, what are your thoughts about this guy, Renato Sanches, returning to PSG, and Reece James, obviously excited about his return and dubbing Cole Palmer world class. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Third video of the day. Liverpool is leading Aston Villa by 2-1. It is Mohamed. It is an own goal by Martinez, the goalkeeper of Aston Villa, and Cody Gakpo giving them the lead after Tielemans had gone ahead, obviously level up things into the mix. So, good night those going to bed, and we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And the Muslims, Barak Lau Fikum. Ciao, ciao. See you later.